Good morning. I wanted to give you a quick analysis of the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. But first things first, we have to read the poem. So I'm going to read the poem to everyone here and then we're going to analyze it together. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Okay, so this is a poem that you had assigned to you yesterday in Common Lit. I'm sure you answered some very challenging questions on it. Now, I'm sure this is probably going to be the second or third time you're reading it. I would recommend reading this poem about 3 different times and taking notes on the poem. I would take these notes in the reading section of your binders. Now, let's analyze this poem together. So, the title of the poem, first of all, is called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And here I wrote down on the right hand side that by including not taken, it's interesting word choice because he might be insinuating regret with his choice. Because instead of saying the road that he did take, he's labeling the road not taken. So already we may have a semblance of regret, and that lends to the tone of his piece. So let's continue. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Diverged simply means split. So there were two roads that split in a yellow wood. So the yellow wood implies a forest. If it's yellow, that means that it might be autumn. And sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. So we can see that he is alone. Or she, the speaker is alone. Long as I stood and looked down, one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Now, in hearing some of this imagery with nature, we start seeing literary devices. So, already the undergrowth we know to symbolize the aspects of life that are unclear, because as he is traveling on this road, he looks to see where it bends in the undergrowth. So, it bends, and there's a part that he cannot see. And these are the parts of life that are unclear, full of doubt. One thing already from the beginning is that the road is a major symbol. I'm going to add that symbol now. And this is what I want you to write down in your notebooks. The road becomes a metaphor for our choices in life. So there were two roads, meaning two choices. And this is symbolic of the many choices that we face in life. And as he looks down one of these roads as far as he could, he sees that it bends in the undergrowth. So it bends out of sight, so he can't see what is down this road. This is symbolic of our choices in life and the parts that are unclear and our doubt whether or not a certain road that we're taking is the right one or not. Okay? Next stanza, then took the other as just as fair. So he took the other road because it looked just as good. Why not? And having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. So this road wanted wear. So the path wanted to be walked on. It desired to be walked on. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. But both paths were really already worn out from the people walking on them. So these are paths that are not just unique to this individual. These are paths that are universal for people. These are choices that everyone faces at some point or another. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Okay, so trodden black, meaning something that's trodden has been crushed or flattened with feet. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Here we have the word doubt. Again, from the beginning, we saw that tone of regret. Now there is the similar idea of doubt. The speaker questioning his or her choices. And here's a very important stanza, and I shall be telling this with a sigh. This word is so important, and it packs so much just in this one little word. By sigh, do you think the speaker implies sadness, regret, nostalgia, relief? Do you think this sigh has a positive or a negative connotation? It's up to you to decide. Somewhere ages and ages hence, so in the future, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Okay, so we see this poem and we know that it's about the choices that we take in life. So, is the poet also making a larger social comment about conformity and conforming to social norms and conforming to certain choices in life in this poem? He appears to make a comment about nonconformity and going against the grain because he says, I took the one less traveled by, so the road that not many people took. Perhaps Frost is telling us to make our own choices and not just go with the crowd and what everyone else is doing. So that's a possible thematic idea right there. And does the speaker really regret his choice? Because at the very end, he says that he took this road less traveled by, but it made all of the difference. Do you think this difference was good, or do you think it was a negative difference? I personally don't think the speaker regrets his choices. Also, although this sigh initially appears to have a negative connotation, the final line, and that has made all of the difference, really makes it seem like the speaker is happy with his choices. So this line has like a tone of contentment and happiness, but it's up to you to kind of infer your own interpretation of this poem. I kind of gave you what I thought of it, but it's up to you. Please do your best to infer the theme. Remember first the topics, narrow it down, and create a thematic statement for this poem. I wish everyone luck. Please reach out with any questions or concerns, and that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this poem. It is one of my favorites.